Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Adult Child of Dysfunction. Today, we have with us a very, very, very special guest, Maria Baumgardner. She's not only a friend of mine, but a coworker of mine, and somebody who has just really shown that no matter what life throws at you, you can keep a positive attitude, you can push through life, you cannot get down on yourself or the world around you, and you can just keep going. And I wanted to bring her on here because she actually just graduated. I'm going to let her tell you where she graduated from, as far as it'll kind of clue you into how old this wonderful, amazing young woman is. But welcome, Maria.
Hi, thank you so much for having me on. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's funny. I was looking at the little form for you to fill out, and I was like, "Where is she? She didn't fill it out. She said she filled it out." And then I'm like, "Oh, we don't know her as Maria at work. We know her as MJ." So, so it kind of threw me off for a loop for a minute. But anyway, I want you to just tell the listeners because a lot of people, okay, so being the podcast is called Adult Child of Dysfunction, it is a lot of stories of adults who have gone through massive amounts of dysfunction and kind of come out on the other side happy, joyous, or still in that phase of trying to be that better version of themselves despite what happened to them. And I want you to tell the little listeners just a little bit of backstory so that they can understand that it's not just the people in their 40s, 50s, 60s that need to do this kind of work, but that at 18 or 19, you can have this positive mindset. So just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so when I was 14, I had a lot of family problems. It was really bad from the get-go. Two, I moved away. I lived in Florida from Texas, and everything was hard. Life was hard with school and work and family problems all the way around. And then when I turned 16, I took in my sisters. They have been living with me under my care, and for the past few years, it has been nothing but trial and error. Um, and I don't know how I did it. I am so very thankful of everyone who's ever helped me in every way, and the Florida State just being alongside me.
So yeah, you picture the fact that being at 16 is hard enough being a teenager, but let alone having to care for three younger children. And how
Yes.
old are they?
I have a 17-year-old, a 13-year-old turning 14 in 4 days, and then a 13-year-old.
So do the four of you all live together?
We
Like,
do, and it's a tiny little apartment. It's very cramped, but we try to get through it with organization skills.
so you're teaching them some skills, which I love because I think one of our first conversations we were talking about emotional intelligence with children.
Yes.
And you were like, oh, yeah, you got to teach them some stuff. You got to teach them the right way.
Always. I want them to have the best things in life, but only they can push themselves to be that far, and I just want to be there to guide them along the way.
Amen. I wish my had parents had been so generous, I guess, with their wisdom. Would have been nice. So talk about I mean, when things were rough, I mean, you're how old are you?
I'm 18 now.
You're just 18 and you just graduated high school, right?
From the Space Coast.
Yeah, wow. And so you've got three children living with you and one soon to be an adult, it sounds like.
Almost. It's her senior year, and we're trying to get her set up for life. I don't know much what to do because I figured out along the way by myself and just trying to take the next right step forward.
Amen. So what are some of the things that you did? Because I look at some of the people that we work with and they don't have half the battles, half the struggles, but they have twice the torment and twice the negativity that you do. So, what are some things you do on a daily basis to kind of keep yourself positive?
So the first thing I try to do every morning, I try to read a bit of my Bible because God is my way of life, and he's just taking the wheel for me. I'm just letting him take the wheel and I'm just going with it. He can make a sharp left turn, I'll be like, okay, swing to left, got it. Um, and how my my whole family was, everyone, all the negativity with life, I just try to put a smile on. That's the best thing you can do because if you show them any emotion saying, "Oh, well, that's if you give them the satisfaction of what they did to you, they're just going to keep going. But if you just put a smile on and say, "Okay, doesn't bother me, they're just gonna stop. And it's harder than it sounds, but I think that's the best way that I've handled my life. Is just saying okay and keep going, smile or not. Fake it till you make it.
Right. Fake to and I know at some point you're going to obviously your body, if nothing else, is going to say, okay, now I have to finally freaking deal with this stuff instead of faking it till I make it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
I'm still waiting for that day to come.
yes. And but the good thing is that you know, and so you can get the tools now. And that's what I do with people. Like some of the people, like even myself, I quote unquote faked it till I made it till I was about 26 and then had a complete mental breakdown because I realized that I didn't grasp a lot of concepts like boundaries and unconditional love and the fact that people shouldn't be able to treat you badly. How are you teaching yourself and navigating some of those things now as a very young?
Um, that's a really hard question because everything that I went through when I was younger, like looking at it nowadays and seeing how people are, it kind of made a connection for me of that's not okay that I was treated like that. And I don't know. I mean, it's kind of what the emotional damage was physically and mentally, mostly mentally. And just seeing the world the way it really is, wide eyes open, compared to being shut in and, oh, you can't do that because of people are.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And it's, I mean, I spent my whole life hearing things like you'll never do anything. You were born into this family. Your mom did this, your dad did this, and
Yeah.
you're never going to be anything. You're never going to go anywhere. You know, and it took a toll and I believed it all.
Yep.
And it sounds like you were fortunate enough to not believe it from the get-go.
I didn't want to end up like my family. I didn't want to end up with nothing. I wanted to do better than I can for myself, and seeing the way my family was, I could not go on like that. It was going to be hard and it would have been wrong, and I could not have lived with myself if I was ever like that to my kids or anybody's kids.
Yeah, no, amen. I hear you on that one. So I love, so what are your plan? I mean, I haven't really talked to you about this and I might be putting you totally on the spot, but I mean, you have an amazing personality, an amazing work ethic, an
Yeah.
amazing positivity, absolutely everything. What are your plans for the future? Or are you just taking it one day at a time?
We are taking it one day at a time. I am actually starting college here at the end of July, and I'm going to go to be an IT tech. So give us a little more money, trying to get maybe find a better area to live in. So who knows? I'll have to be working with us, working there. I hope I will continue working there. I love working. Um, but definitely just trying to get one day at a time and seeing what our best step forward is, even if it's a side quest or the main quest.
Okay, perfect. So advice. Okay, so if you could give, because you're only 18 and
Mhm.
kids right now are struggling, a lot of them are struggling. A lot of them are in what I call just toxic environments, and that could be a parent, a grandparent, a friend. It could be their whole friend group. It could be whatever. But what would be some signs? And I'm going to try to get this episode really out to a lot of the parents that I know to get it to their teenagers, because I think that sometimes hearing it from someone up here makes more sense than hearing it from a 40-year-old, if that makes sense. What would be some like tips or tricks that you could maybe give to them about how to navigate their adversity and the things that are getting hit with?
Um, for kids, I feel like it's schoolwork always overloading them, and parents just all the emotional stuff. And I feel like parents need to take a little break and have a sit down moment with your kids. That is all I feel. I mean, having a simple conversation of how was your day, and not just playing the blame game of, well, you made my life like this and you made this happen because of your choices. It'd be nice to sit down and do what I did once with my kids. We're trying to work on it. An emotional box. You take note cards, you write what you want, you fold them up, and we do dots. So yellow for happy moments, blue for sad, red for angry moments. And then at the end of every 2 weeks, we sit down and we pull a card out and we talk about what was this about. how can we work together so this does not happen again? How can we combine each other's emotions and make a happy or an understanding circle?
Ah, that's actually beautiful. And where did you come up with that? Did you come up with that?
No, it was a guidance counselor at mine at my high school. She and I worked alongside with other teenagers, trying to see how we can help people, especially teenagers, with not getting into drugs and staying away from suicide.
Hmm. Well, and you said when you made the fake it till you make it, that kind of was
Hmm.
one of those things that I try to encourage. I don't want to say I want to encourage people not to do, but
Yeah.
it sounds like I didn't want it to look like, you don't have emotions because obviously you are very human. You have every emotion out there. You just know how to
Always.
handle them in front of the people that you need to handle them in front of. But it's I love that idea of the box because it's I mean, kids nowadays still are taught to stuff those emotions.
Yes,
And
and it's not healthy. It's really
no,
not, boy or girl.
no, it doesn't. Yes. And people, especially boys that get that stigma of guys don't cry, guys got to be tough, guys got to be this. And, at the end of the day, we are all human and we all have emotions. And every emotion that you stuff, I said, it's like putting it in a backpack and it weighs you down, but it's still back there. You don't see it, but it's still kind of putting some weight on you. And then you get
Yeah.
the thousand of these ideas, emotions, or experiences. And now your backpack weighs 2,000 pounds. And now your body starts to fall apart. I mean, you're young enough that luckily your body hasn't started to fall apart. But I mean,
Yeah.
God, I was 18. I had bleeding ulcers. I had full blown anxiety attacks. I mean, and even when I went to the doctor with bleeding ulcers and vomiting blood at 18, they never said, well, what was your home life like? Like, have you dealt with any stress? And I mean, what
Hmm.
else would it have been that gave me bleeding ulcers at 18? you know? So, well, I love your positivity. I just love you, honestly.
Thank you.
And I'm rooting for you. I want you to do big things. I love that you have that emotion box idea. I would love to actually pick your brain for some more ideas, whether they came from you or came from your guidance counselor, because you have three children under 18 in your household that you are responsible for. And in just the conversations that we've had, you are teaching them to be very emotionally mature
Hmm.
and very emotionally aware. And that's not going to just help them right now. It's going to help them 100% going forward.
Yes.
So do you have any questions for me?
I don't. I've been
No.
thinking about a lot for this whole morning and I haven't got any.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to add? Like anything that you want to talk about that we didn't touch on?
I want to give another thing of advice.
Okay.
The grass may not be greener now, but you can make it greener on the other side. And I wish
Mm,
someone would have told me that because when I moved, it was hard. I was 14. I was coming from ninth grade to a different ninth grade high school and no friends, nothing going on. And you fall into that sort of depression and weird moment, but you have to do your growth and only you can do that.
mm. I love that. So it's like taking that expression, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And it's
Mhm.
not. People pick up
No.
and they leave and they think they're escaping and everything's going to be great. And then they get to same shit, different day
Yep.
in another location. And that is a very big, I'm glad you brought that up because that is a huge thing. Because then at some point you said you get to that moment of depression and you're like, oh my God, it's not better. And I went out
Yep.
on a limb and I picked up everything and I left. And you have to, I mean, I say in everything, life is a choice.
It
You
is.
know,
It really is.
I mean, you
Whether
wake
it's
up, oh, go ahead.
whether it's the wrong choice or the right choice, you just got to keep going with it. If,
Yeah.
if that's if that's what makes you comfortable and happy enough to do, you have to follow through. No one can stop you.
Yep. No one can stop you and no one should stop you.
No,
And and sometimes even the choices, I mean, the right choice or the right choices are usually the harder options.
they definitely are.
I mean, the wrong choices are usually like, yeah, the easy way out, let's just
Yeah.
pick. And our brains are wired for the path of least resistance. I mean, that's how our brains are wired. to conserve energy because we got so much stuff going in them every day, and they're wired to do what is comfortable, what is familiar, what is less stress. And sometimes that's staying where you are.
Yeah.
So to make a big move like that is monumental. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, I hear it say, people say at my age in marriages all the time, well, I'm content, but are you happy? It's like,
Exactly.
it's like, well, things are okay, but are they joyful? Like you only have one life. You have to live in it. So it's like, make it the best you can.
There is no reward without a risk.
Amen. Amen.
Hmm.
And it stands to reason too that the higher the risk, the better the reward.
Yep.
So, and it's the same thing with working out, or doing any kind of mental anything, any kind of growth. The more you put into it, the more rewarding and the more satisfying it is at the end. So
Oh,
wow, this was, like I said, I could talk to you forever, but I just wanted to bring you on here because we don't have many 18-year-olds that are on here that have the wisdom and the emotional intelligence to get out of what you got out of and move forward and do what you're doing. I mean, it's like crazy. It's like a huge story in resilience, and I hope you share it often and share it well and proud, because I think you should be very proud of yourself.
thank you. I really am.
Yeah. And I see that, I mean, you're the only, I mean, like, I just look back at when I was in high school. I wanted nothing more than to just get out of freaking high school because high school years were miserable. I didn't have any friends hardly. I just did my thing. I got shuffled around and I was just like, I just wanted out. And when you told me that you cried the whole last day of high school because you were so sad to be leaving these people, I'm like, this girl is like a saint. Like, I don't know. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So So if you had to give, okay, so the listeners here, like I said, I've got young people listening, I've got older people listening, I've got moms that I would like to share this with their children. Um, do you have any other last words of advice for like teenagers? Because that's where I think, I mean, I look at the suicide rate today and it makes me sick.
It really is sad that a lot of kids are just falling into that. And my one last thing of advice for teenagers is don't give in to peer pressure. It sucks, and there's always something going on around you that you are trying to be included, and the FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't feel like that. There's always someone in your corner, whether it's your mom or your dog or your cousin, you will always have someone there, even if you don't know they're there for you.
Mm. That is that is super important. And I always tell people you got to have that one person. They say, especially in children in dysfunctional households, the the one determining factor of whether they thrive or they don't is if they have one person that got their back. So
Yep.
to you, it might have been your guidance counselor. It
It
could be an
was.
aunt. It could be an uncle. Um, it could be anybody. It could be a best friend, but have that one person that can get your back to kind of be an accountability buddy for your sadness and your joyfulness as well. Yeah, I love that. Well, I'm gonna let you go on with your day. I see you're sitting in the car. You probably just dropped off three kids somewhere and doing what you're doing, and it's 97 degrees. So
I know.
it's probably really hot in there, isn't it?
It's a little hot. I get the AC going. They're inside putting everything away, so we did some grocery shopping, but it's been pretty good.
Okay, well, good. Well, I want to say again, thank you so much. Don't hang up when we get off here. I want to talk to you for just a minute, but thank you so much. And I hope everything is going well for you. And if you have any last words of advice, no, because I like
Nope,
your
all
wisdom.
good.
Okay,
All right.
thank you. And for
Thank you so
everybody
much,
else,
Cam.
oh, you are very welcome. And for everybody else out there listening, you've heard it, guys. This is an 18-year-old who has pushed through some crap. And when I say push through some crap, I mean really push through some crap. And she's got three kids living with her, all under the age of 18. She's raising them. They're going to be just as beautiful of human beings as she is. And take this as a hopeful moment, a hopeful and healing moment to know that you can do it. You just have to help children along, and you have to, yeah, it doesn't matter what age you are, it's never too late to start. So thank you guys. Love you. See you next week.